Now we will read and understand fiber to fabric, chapter 3. Okay. So it says in class 6 we have learned about some fiber obtained from plants. We have read and we know some fiber that are obtained from plants which are useful to us. Okay. And you also learned that wool and silk fibers are obtained from animals. That is commonly used, that we know wool and silk fibers are obtained from animals. Wool is obtained from the fleece, that is hair of sheep or yak. So how wool is obtained? So wool is obtained from fleece. Fleece is nothing but the hair of sheep and yak. Silk fibers come from cocoons of the silk moth, and silk fibers are produced from cocoons of the silk moth. Do you know which part of the sheep's body yields fiber? So do you know which part of the sheep's body yields fiber? Yeah, that is the fleece, which is the sheep's hair. Are you aware how these fibers are converted into the woolen yarn that we buy from the market to knit sweaters? Okay. Do you have any idea how silk fibers are made into silk, which is woven into saris? So this chapter gives us some questions here, and at the beginning that we have to know and understand. So how from the fiber final products are obtained and we use it in the form of clothes. In this chapter we shall try to find answers to these questions. Okay, so we will try to find the answer of these questions in this chapter. So first it says about animal fibers, wool and silk. So 3.1 says about wool. Wool comes from sheep. So it says wool comes from sheep, goat, yak and some other animals. So the animals which are very hairy. Okay, so their fleece are cut and then the fibers or wool are obtained from their hairs. These wool yielding animals bear hair on their body. Do you know why these animals have a thick coat of hair? Yes, because they live in cold climate. Okay, where they live, the environment is very cold, so they have thick hairs to protect themselves from the cold. Hair traps a lot of air, and hair also traps lot of air. Air is a poor conductor of heat, and we know air is poor conductor of heat. It doesn't allow the heat to pass from one place to another easily. Okay, when you burn some fire, okay, if you go very close to it, you will feel the heat, but after some distance you don't feel that heat because air is bad conductor. Okay, so it says air is a bad conductor of heat, as you would learn in chapter 4. So hair keeps these animals warm. Wool is derived from these hairy fibers, and wool is derived from or obtained from these hairy fibers. Activity 3.1. Feel the hair on your body and arms and those on your head. Do you find any difference? Which one seems coarse and which one is soft? Like us, the hairy skin of the sheep has two types of fibers that form its fleece: the coarse beard hair and the fine soft under hair close to the skin. So the fine soft under hair close to the skin. The fine hair provides the fiber for making wool. Okay, so beard hair is not soft, it is coarse hair, but the fine soft hair which is under skin or which are on the skin other than the beard are soft fibers. The fine hair provides the fibers for making wool, and these hairs which are fine and not coarse are used to provide the fibers or make the fibers. Some breeds of sheep possess only fine under hair. Their parents are especially chosen to give birth to sheep which have only soft under hair. So the sheep are breeded so that good quality wool can be produced. This process of selecting parents for obtaining special characters in their offspring, such as soft under hair in sheep, is termed selective breeding. So this process of selecting the parents for the good breed of wool is called for the good breed of sheep which can yield good quality wool is called selective breedings. Animals that yield wool. Several breeds of sheep are found in different part of our country. Different types of sheep are there that are found in different parts of our country. So however, the fleece of sheep is not the only source of wool, though wool commonly available in the market is sheep wool. So sheep wool is very common, but it is not only sheep that can produce wool. There are other animals also whose fleece are taken and wool are obtained. Wool is common in Tibet and Ladakh. Mohair is obtained from Angora goats. Okay. Found in hilly regions such as Jammu and Kashmir. So different animals examples are given from which the wool is obtained. Wool is also obtained from goat hair. The underfur of Kashmiri goat is soft. So underfur of Kashmiri goat is soft. It is woven into fine shawls called Pashmina shawls. So from the Angora goat, fine shawls are obtained, or Kashmiri goat. Okay, from Kashmiri goat, the Pashmina shawls are obtained. The fur that is here on the body of camels is also used as wool. The fur on the body of camel can also be used as wool. Means wool can be obtained from the fur of camel. Llama, the alpaca found in South America, also yield wool. Some of the animals examples are given here that you have to learn from which wool can be obtained. Now activity 3.2. Collect pictures of animals whose hair is used as wool. So some pictures are given of the animals from which wool can be obtained. Stick them in your scrapbook. If you are unable to get pictures, try and draw them from the ones given in this book. So you can just draw it on the rough to identify, okay, these animals are there from which wool can be obtained. Find out words for sheep, goat, camel and yak in your local language and also in other languages of our country. कैमल को वुड बोलते हैं और गोट को बकरी बोलते हैं. ओके, अदर नेम तो उसी नेम से जाना जाता है, याक एंड अल्पाका एंड लामा. सो एक्टिविटी 3.3. Procure outline maps of India and the world. Find out and mark the places on the map where you find animals that provide wool. So mark the places where wool providing animals are found. So it is already given here. So these are the locations along with the examples. Use different colors to denote the location for different wool yielding animals. So some activity is given for you to do. From fibers to wool. Now it starts from here. The process. Okay, from fibers to wool. For obtaining wool, sheep are reared. Their hair is cut and processed into wool. Let us learn about this process. Rearing and breeding of sheep. If you travel to the hills in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim, or the plains of Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat, you can see shepherds taking their herd of sheep for grazing. So usually if you will travel, you can see some shepherd, they used to take out the sheep for grazing. Sheep are herbivores and prefer grass and leaves. So sheep are herbivores and they eat grass and leaves. Sheep are herbivores and prefer grass and leaves. Apart from grazing sheep, rearers also feed them on a mixture of pulses, corn, jowar, oil cakes, material left after taking out oil from seeds. Okay, so these things are also given to the goat, or the it is written only for the sheep. Okay, so sheep are feeded these things. Other animals can also be feeded this, but it is saying here only for the sheep. Okay, sheep are herbivores. They prefer to eat grass and leaves, but other things like pulses, corn, jowar, oil cakes are also given to them, and minerals also. In winter, sheep are kept indoors and fed on leaves, grains and dry fodder. So in winter, from season to season, some changes also are also there in their food. The sheep are reared in many parts of our country for wool. So sheep are reared in many parts of our country for wool. Table 3.1 gives the names of some breed of sheep reared in our country for producing wool. So one table is there. These are the name of the sheep's breed. Okay, and which part of the country it is found. So it says Lohi, quality of wool is good and it is found in Rajasthan and Punjab. Rampur Bushehr, that is brown fleece. It is found in Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh. Nali is carpet wool, Rajasthan, Haryana and Punjab. Bhakarwal for woolen shawls, Jammu and Kashmir. Marwari coarse wool, Gujarat. Pathanwadi for Hoseri in Gujarat. The quality and texture of the fibers obtained from them is also indicated in the table. Certain breeds of sheep have thick coat of hair on their body which yields good quality wool in large quantities. As mentioned earlier, these sheep are selectively bred, with one parent being a sheep of good breed. So sheep of good breed is used for reproducing new sheep which can yield good quality wool. Once the reared sheep have developed a thick growth of hair is shaved off for getting wool. So the hair of the sheep is shaved off or trimmed off, so for obtaining the wool or to get the wool. Processing fibers into wool. Now next topic is for processing the fibers into wool. How the fibers are processed into wool. The wool which is used for knitting sweaters or for weaving shawls is the finished product of a long process which involves the following steps. So it has some steps from fiber to wool production. It have to pass through the following steps. Step 1 is the fleece of the sheep along with a thin layer of skin is removed from its body. Okay, so thin layer of fleece. The fleece of the sheep along with a thin layer of skin is removed from its body. Okay, so fleece is actually shaved off. It says somewhere shaved off. So along with the thin layer of the skin is removed, along with the fleece, thin layer of the sheep is also removed from its body. This process is called shearing. So shearing is the taking out of fleece from sheep's body. Machines similar to those used by barbers are used to shave off hair. So machines which are used by barbers to shave off hair, that is usually used for obtaining fleece from sheep. Usually hair are removed during the hot weather. This enables sheep to survive without their protective coat of hair. So in summer wools are removed because in winter they need it. They need it to protect themselves. So in summer or when the weather is hot, the fleece is taken. The hair provide woolen fibers. Woolen fibers are then processed to obtain woolen yarn. So fleece will produce woolen fibers. Woolen fibers then produce woolen yarn. Shearing does not hurt the sheep, just as it does not hurt when you get a haircut or your father shaves his beard. So it doesn't hurt the sheep because it is just taking out of the hair. It can be shaving, it can be trimming also, but it doesn't hurt it. Okay. Do you know why? The uppermost layer of the skin is dead, because uppermost skin layer is dead. So it doesn't hurt when it is shaved. Also the hair of sheep grow against just as your hair does. Now step 2. Okay. Step 1 is done, that is the shaving of the fleece. Step 2 is the sheared skin with the hair is thoroughly washed in tanks to remove grease, dust and dirt. When it is cleaned actually, when it is washed and cleaned. When it is brought to the processing industry, it is washed and cleaned. This is called scoring. Okay, so here is the definition of scoring that you can learn. Nowadays scoring is done by machines. Now step 3 is after scoring, sorting is done. The hairy skin is sent to a factory where hair of different textures are separated or sorted. So hairs of different texture are like sorted. They are which quality, which variety will go on which basket. So it is sorted there. Step 4 means the small fluffy fibers called burrs are picked out from the hair. These are the same burrs which sometimes appear on your sweater. So some burrs are there on the wools which are separated, and it is similar to what appears on our sweater. The fibers are scored again and dried. This is the wool ready to be drawn into fibers. So now after a scoring process, this is ready to be drawn into woolen fibers. Now step 5, the fibers can be dyed in various colors. Now the dyeing starts. So fibers are dyed into various colors. As the natural fleece of sheep and goat is black, brown or white. So it is black, brown or white. So it can be given different colors. After dyeing it only, it can get different colors. Step 6 is the fibers are straightened, combed and rolled into yarn. Okay. The longer fibers are made into wool and sweaters, and the shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen clothes. So longer fibers are used for sweaters and shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen clothes. The process of fiber into wool can be represented as follows: shearing, scoring, sorting, cleaning of burrs, dyeing and rolling. So these are the process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now activity 3.4, debate amongst your classmates whether it is fair on the part of humans to rear sheep and then chop off their hair for getting wool. So one debate is given that should animal be reared for obtaining wool, or there can be some other method to obtain such fibers. Next is 3.2, which talk about silk. Silk is also obtained from animal fiber, so we will read about it. Silk fibers are also animal fibers. Silkworm spin the silk fibers. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called sericulture. It is called sericulture. The process of obtaining silk from silkworm is called sericulture. Find out from your mother, aunt, grandmother the kind of silk sarees they have. List the kind of silk. So there are different variety of silk. So it tells us about that. Silk are obtained and there are different types of silk also. Before we discuss the process of obtaining silk, it is necessary to know the interesting life history of the silk moth. So before we can proceed with the understanding of silk fibers, it is important for us to understand the life history of the silk moth. So it says here the life history of silk moth. The female silk moth lays eggs from which hatch larvae, which are called caterpillars. So from egg, caterpillars are born and they grow in size, and when the caterpillar is ready to enter the next stage of its life history called pupa, from caterpillar it turns into pupa. It first weaves a net to hold itself, then it swings its head from side to side in the form of figure of 8. Okay, so pupa is obtained, you can see it is male, it is female, and eggs here and silkworm or the caterpillar. Okay, then finally the cocoon will come. So or it will get the form of cocoon. During this movement of the head, the caterpillar secretes fiber made of a protein which hardens on exposure to air and becomes silk fiber. Soon the caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fibers and turns into pupa. It turns into pupa. This covering is known as cocoon. This covering is called cocoon. So definition of cocoon is here. Soon the caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fiber and turns into pupa. This covering is known as cocoon. The further development of the pupa into moth continues inside the cocoon. Silk fibers are used for weaving silk cloth. Can you imagine that the soft silk yarn is as strong as a comparable thread of steel? So it is that strong. Okay, soft silk yarn is as strong as, it can be compared to the steel thread. It is so strong. The silk yarn thread is obtained from the cocoon of silk moth. There is a variety of silk moth which look very different from one another, and the silk yarn they yield is different in texture, coarse, smooth, shiny, etc. Different types of texture are there, all differs. Different types of silk moth yields different types of silk fibers. Thus, Tasar silk, Muga silk, Kosa silk, etc. are obtained from cocoons spun by different types of moths. The most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth. The most common variety of silk is mulberry silk moth. The silk fiber from the cocoon of this moth is soft, lustrous and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors. So these are the advantages of mulberry silk. It is soft, lustrous and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors also. Sericulture or culture of silkworms is a very old occupation in India. India produces plenty of silk on a commercial scale. So it produces large quantity of silk. India produces large quantity of silk. It is used commercially also. It can be exported also. Collect pieces of silk cloth of various types and paste them in your scrapbook. Different types of silk cloth it is asking to collect and paste it in your book. You can find them in a tailor's shop among the heap of waistcoat pieces. Take help of your mother, aunt or teacher and identify the types of silk such as mulberry silk, tasar silk, eri silk, muga silk, etc. Compare the texture of these silks with that of the artificial silk pieces, which contain synthetic fibers. Try and collect pictures of different moths whose caterpillars provide the various types of silk. Now, activity 3.6. Take an artificial synthetic silk thread and a pure silk thread. Burn these threads carefully. Did you notice any difference in the smell while burning? Now burn a woolen fiber carefully. Did it smell like burning the artificial silk or that of a pure silk? Can you explain why? So when you burn different types of silk, it gives different kind of smells. When you burn woolen fiber, it gives totally different kind of smell.
Yeah, okay.
To remember when the cocoon stage is reached in the life history of the silk moth, try the following activity. Okay, now activity 3.7. Photocopy. Figure 3.9. Cut out the pictures of the stages of the life history of the silk moth and paste them on pieces of cardboard or chart paper. Jumble them. Now try and arrange the stages in the correct sequence in a cyclic form. Whoever does it faster wins. So it is giving some activity to cut the photo and paste it. Now try arrange the stages, different stages in a correct sequence, correct order. Which order comes first? Okay, in the fiber production. It is talking about the silk moth from the eggs, laying of eggs till the cocoon, and then finally the fibers are obtained. You may also describe the life history in your own words, and then you can write a short description of the life history of the silk moth. Write it down in your scrapbook. Whatever you have learnt here, the life history of silk moth, you can write it in your own words, okay, so that you can remember it. Now next topic is from cocoon to silk. So how from cocoon the silk is obtained, it says about that. For obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. Okay, so moths are reared and cocoons are collected to get silk or silk threads. Rearing silkworm. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. Okay, it gives large number of like hundreds of eggs at one time. It can lay egg. The eggs are stored. The eggs are stored carefully on strips of cloth or paper and sold to silkworm farmers. So the eggs are stored carefully so that it doesn't break, and it is stored carefully on the strip of cloth and paper and sold to silkworm farmers. And it is sold to the silkworm farmers. The farmers keep the eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. So eggs are kept under the good temperature and humidity so that the farmers keep eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. The farmers keep eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. So eggs are kept under suitable favorable temperature and humidity. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larva to hatch from eggs. So if eggs are kept at suitable temperature, then the larva will come out from the eggs. This is done when mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of leaves. This is done when mulberry trees bear fresh crop of leaves. New leaves comes up in a mulberry tree. There it is kept. Okay. The larva called caterpillar or silkworm eat day and night and increase enormously in size. So they are kept on the mulberry trees. Larva is kept on the mulberry trees leaves, and there they grow. The larvae are kept in a clean bamboo trays along with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. Okay, they are kept on the mulberry leaves on a bamboo tray also, so that they can be monitored. So it is brought down in the lab now. Okay, after 25 to 30 days, the caterpillar stops eating and moves to a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin cocoons. So after 20 to 30 days, they form cocoons. So they come to the bamboo. A small racks or twigs may be provided in the trays to which cocoons get attached. The caterpillar or silkworm spins the cocoon, inside which develops the silk moth. Now processing silk. The pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fibers. The cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled to exposed to steam. Okay, the cocoon is kept under the sun. It is heated, it means, or sometimes it is boiled also or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. So it is heated or boiled or exposed to steam so that the fiber separate out from the cocoon. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. So this process of exposing the cocoon to steam or boiling it is called reeling of silk, and in this process the cocoons are separated from the fiber it contains. Okay, reeling is done in special machines which unwind the thread or fibers of silk from the cocoon. Silk fibers are then spun into silk threads, which are woven into silk cloth by weavers. So finally this is the way the silk fibers are produced, and it is given to the weavers to weave the clothes. Okay, so key important words: cocoon, fleece, reeling, scoring, sericulture, shearing, silk moth, silkworm, sorting are here, followed by the questions and answers that you have to do.